Welcome to Slimeverse After Hours. Today we'll be playing everything. If you don't know what everything is, it's a much more of a experimental, artsy game, but I figured that it'd be perfect for a stream like this. So I hope everybody's having a good night, and that they could just come in here and relax while we play this. Or a zebra. So as you can see, in this game you can control pretty much everything. All you really have to do is just take control of anything, whether it be a plant, an animal, an object, absolutely anything. And the idea of the game is to just collect as many animals and as many creatures, items as you can, just to keep building your encyclopedia. It's meant to be more of a relaxing experience and more of an interesting philosophical one as well. So let's see what's over here. Can you be a rat? I believe you can. Hi, human. You found me finally. We've been waiting for you for such a long time. Notice my thought had the icon. Look out for others with this. We're here to show you what you're able to do and help you navigate everything. Good luck. Things with the everything icon unlock abilities. Keep an eye out for them. And yes, you can be everything. The point is that you can be everything, including a rat. Let's go see what this tree is about. Everything sings. Singing is how all things communicate. Singing helps things find or avoid another. It deepens bonds between some things and separates others. It's how things announce their existence. So sing all day long. I want you to hear what you sound like, and so does everyone else. If other things hear you, they might sing back. So it looks like we can make noises as a zebra. Beautiful animals. I love zebras. I love just animals in general, especially just a lot more of the unique and cool looking ones. Let's go see the thought bubble. What does this rock have to say to us? So what do zebras feel about sunny days? I can't stand them. They get my face all sunny, and it itches like crazy. And as you can see, through the touchpad we can collect thoughts of all the things that we can find in this world. Mind info. But as you can see, just about everything is here. So let's see what the zebra has to say. Hey, how far back do you think zebras go? You might not always feel it, but you took trillions of generations of zebras, getting mixed up all the way back to forever. It's incredible you made it through and finally arrived. Those other zebras around here are reflections of you from back then, each with their own dreams, their own lives to live. As you meet other zebras, you will sometimes feel inseparable from them, and find where you really start and end is up to you. Other zebras are nearby. Join them by pressing or holding square when close. And now just like that, we travel in a pack. Are those online players moving around? No, they're all CPUs. And as you can see, our pack of zebras is starting to grow. Now let's go see what the wise rock has to say. There you are. Over time, you might find there's no right or wrong path to take here. As you explore, you might feel that parts of you need to go in their own direction. Because you can't control everything at once, at least not yet. Try letting go of a few things. Look at that. Obviously, we're going to be learning a lot more as we move along in the game. Let's go see what this thought bubble says. Nothing ever happens. What were you before being a zebra? What were we before being a zebra? It's interesting, is it not? And this is a camel. Just gotta keep collecting more thoughts. Being a coconut tree isn't so bad, as long as there's zebras around to make fun of. Is there another one over there? Yeah, there is. Okay. And there's another prism thing over there. Hey, what do you make of all those small things around here? All the plants and little creatures. Are they here for you? Or are you here for them? It's hard to imagine that everything could be here for each other. Because you can only see things from a zebra's perspective. Just as I can only see from a Yucca Gloriosa's perspective. But if you want to, you can always see things from a little thing's point of view. Try it. So now, we can descend to something smaller. Like this. And now we're a fern. We're just a little plant now. And we could join all these art plants as well to move around. But we can descend even further. And now we're a rock. Now we just gotta descend even further. And now look at that. Now we're much smaller towards the ground. Hi, friend. Looks like you've seen things from a little thing's point of view. Now you might be wondering, what's it like to see things from the other way around? To see things from bigger things' point of view. Out of all points of views you find, which one is the right one? So now we can just move around here. And if you see here, We can collect, we have an entire encyclopedia of things to collect. And in order to get 100% completion, we have to become everything. And just add them all to this encyclopedia. We can also reset the area if things get too crazy. It's very, very interesting. You seem pretty sharp. Tell me, do I need to be fearing anything? Please write whatever it is down on a sheet of paper and throw it off a cliff. We are dead grass. I wish I were bigger sometimes. Things would be so much better if I was just a little bit taller. Just even a tiny bit. That's all I want. And now look at us. We're a scorpion. And now we have a scorpion friend. And look at that, there's an ant. And now we will attack the ant. Now, of course, we could descend even further. And we will. You see, now we're microorganisms. But how further could we descend? We'll just have to figure it out. A morning glory pollen. We just gotta keep doing this till we find something to help us ascend further. Because what if we want to head back up? So let's head back up. Why don't we? And we're a scorpion again. And then we could be a cattail. Or a wild barley. So let's ascend to be a rock again. But this time, we'll be a bigger rock. And as we're a bigger rock, we can roll around a lot more. But what if we want to be something bigger? Like a tree. But what if that's not enough? What if I want to be something even bigger? But first, let's see what this is about. What there is.
I find it a little difficult to say what the subject matter of this seminar is going to be, because it's too fundamental to give it a title. I'm going to talk about what there is. Now, the first thing, though, that we have to do is to get our perspectives with some background about the basic ideas which influence our everyday common sense, our fundamental notions about what life is about. Ideas of the world which are built into the very nature of the language we use, and of our ideas of logic and of what makes sense altogether. And these basic ideas I call myth, not using the word myth to mean simply something untrue, but to use the word myth in a more powerful sense. A myth is an image in terms of which we try to make sense of the world.
So this is another key point of everything. One of the things that you can collect in this game are audio. Now, this audio is narrated by British American philosopher, Alan Watts. These are old recordings of him. They were recorded between 1965 and 1973. And they're sprinkled all throughout the entire game. And it's very, very interesting to see. Now we can ascend a level above. And now look at us. We're an island. We're just constantly growing bigger and bigger as we ascend. A sand continent. But what if we want to ascend further? Now we're a planet. We're Earth. And now, we're gonna go crash this into the sun. Almost there. Almost there. Perfect. I think this is a good place for Earth to be in. Now let's descend back in. And now look at us. We're an ice continent. What do you say we explore this ice continent? As you can see, we're another rock. There's going to be lots of rocks in this game. There's some moose. Polar bears. There we go. Now, one of the things I love the most about this game is how you can really put it on just to dick around in, and you'd still find at least a bit of a therapeutic experience with the game. And truth be told, that's something I love and something I always strive to look for. And this game isn't lying when it says that you can be everything. Now we're a campfire. And now we're a tent. What do you have to say? There are other oars of polar bears around. I wonder if they're friendly. I've been afraid to check. Looks like if we head over here, we have a world that peoples.
You, as a human being, you grow out of this physical universe in just exactly the same way that an apple grows off an apple tree. So let's say the tree which grows apples is a tree which apples, using apple as a verb. And a world in which human beings arrive is a world that peoples. And so the existence of people is symptomatic of the kind of universe we live in. Just as hair on a head is symptomatic of what's going on in the organism. But we have been brought up not to feel that we belong in the world. So our popular speech reflects it. We say, I came into this world. You didn't. You came out of it. We say, face facts. We talk about encounters with reality. As if it was a head-on meeting of completely alien agencies. And the average person has the sensation that he is a somewhat that exists inside a bag of skin. The center of consciousness, which looks out at this thing. And what the hell's it going to do to me? I recognize you. You kind of look like me, and I've seen myself in a mirror.
I believe we're a wolf.
You look like you might be people. So maybe you're intelligent. Maybe you can love too.
Arctic wolf.
Perhaps you're all right. Some of you are anyway. You've got the right color of skin, or you have the right religion, or whatever it is. You're okay. But there are all those people over in Asia, Africa. They may not really be people. When you want to destroy someone, you always define them as unpeople.
It's very interesting. I like that a lot of Alan Waite's just speeches are sprinkled all throughout the game. It adds a whole lot to the experience. If it wasn't this snowy last winter, this is really it wasn't this snowy last winter. This is really ruining my vacation. Oh, that's a seal. What's it doing out here? A harbor seal. Beautiful. It looks like we could descend. So let's see what we have here. A pine seedling. Let's go a bit further. What is this? We have a feather. It looks like with a feather, we're a lot more able to maneuver around a bit quicker. Life mostly involves going out and entangling yourself with others. But I want to show you another way of getting mixed up. A very beautiful thing you can do, and that's dancing. To dance is to move in a pattern, and not towards anywhere in particular. To make yourself the destination, and to enjoy never quite arriving. Dancing always takes two, but the more the merrier. Everything dances a little differently, so try doing it with different things. Alright, I guess we'll try dancing. Let's go ahead and pair up with them. Go for it. A new white feather is ready to be born. Look at that. So by doing the dances, you can create new things. And look at that. We just have a bunch of white feathers now. I sometimes want to just give up. I've tried finding meaning doing what I like doing, or at least what I tell myself I like doing, but it never feels right. I always feel just stuck, not going anywhere. Looks like we have another Alan Waite's tape here. So let's take a listen.
We have this hostility to the external world because of the superstition, myth, the absolutely unfounded theory that you yourself exist only inside your skin. Now, I want to propose another idea altogether. Billions of years ago, you were a big bang. Now you're a complicated human being. But so we define ourselves as being only that. If you think that you are only inside your skin, you define yourself as one very complicated little curlicue, way out on the edge of that explosion, way out in space and way out in time. And then we cut ourselves off and don't feel that we're still the Big Bang. But you are. Depends how you define yourself. You are actually, if this is the way things started, if there was a Big Bang in the beginning, you're not something that is a result of the Big Bang. You're not something that is a sort of puppet on the end of the process. You are still the process. You are the Big Bang, the original force of the universe coming on as whoever you are. See, when I meet you, I see not just what you define yourself as, Mr. So-and-so, Miss So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so. I see every one of you as the primordial energy of the universe coming on at me in this particular way. I know I'm that too. But we've learned to define ourselves as separate from it.
This is very interesting. You know, I like a lot of these speeches, even if I don't fully understand a lot of the meanings behind them. Sure, I didn't get to choose my parents, but I can choose what kind of child I'll be to them, and I choose to be completely absent. It's another thing this game tends to do. It really... You know, it really tries to just showcase just different emotions and different human thoughts in general. And just having them all played out through things. You know, whether that be plants, rocks, animals, you name it. I have a job to do, even though it may not look like that to you. But I have to be here to do this. You have a job too, human. Now get back to your job and leave me alone. It's almost as if we're looking into the minds of other humans. Except these minds are present in things. Not necessarily human. Okay. How about we descend a bit further? I believe we're a strand of hair. Yeah. But now we can also be a snowflake. And I believe this is a splinter. I've been actively trying to bite the dust my entire life. I've been actively trying to bite the dust my entire life. You know, a lot of these very much feel like intrusive thoughts, in a sense. What do we have here? No such thing as things.
What I would call a kind of a basic problem we've got to go through first is to understand that there are no such things as things. That is to say, separate things. That is only a way of thought. If you can understand this, you're going to have no further problems.
Oh, look at this fella.
I once asked a group of high school children, what do you mean by a thing? And first of all, they gave me all sorts of synonyms. They said it's an object, which is simply another word for a thing. It doesn't tell you anything about what you mean by a thing. Finally, a very smart girl who was in the group said a thing is a noun. She was quite right. A noun isn't a part of nature, it's a part of speech.
It's true.
There are no nouns in the physical world. There are no separate things in the physical world either.
Blame yourself or blame nothing.
Wiggly.
Wow.
Clouds, mountains, trees, people are all wiggly. And only when human beings get working at things, they build buildings in straight lines and try and make out that the world isn't really wiggly. But here are we sitting in this room all built on straight lines, but each one of us is as wiggly as all get out.
A lot of the thoughts I'm finding in these creatures. They're all very nihilistic in a weird way. Diatome. What if we descend even further? But yeah, just that like sentence, like blame yourself or blame nobody. It feels very self-destructive in a weird way. And I think there's a lot of aspects in this game that is showing that. Poppy seed. What do we got here? It's interesting to look at these microorganisms. Star radiolaria. It's a mineral skeleton in the shape of a star. And it is interesting to just learn about these different things. Although quite a very slow-paced yet meaningful and artsy perspective, you know? What do we got here? What's this little thing? Trypanosoma brucei. I think I'll just read some of these. I think that'd be good. Trypanosoma brucei is a species of parasitic protozoan belonging to the genus Tryphophthosoma. It causes African tryphosiomonas, also known as sleeping sickness in humans, and nagana in other animals. T. brucei has traditionally been grouped into 3 subspecies. TB brucei, TB gambiense, and TB rodsine. The latter 2 are typically parasites of humans, while the first is that of other animals. Only rarely can the TB brucei infect a human. TB brucei is transmitted between animal hosts by an insect vector belonging to the species of testy fly. Transmission occurs by biting during the insect's blood meal. The parasites undergo complex morphological changes as they move between insect and animal over the course of their life cycle. The mammalian bloodstream forms are notable for the variant surface VSG coats, which undergo remarkable antigenic variation, enabling persistent invasion of host adaptive immunity and chronic infection. T. brucei is one of only a few pathogens that can cross the blood-brain barrier. There is an urgent need for the development of new drug therapies, as current treatments can prove fatal to the patient. It's very interesting. It is a deadly parasite of sorts. What's over there? There's gotta be something smaller I could change into. What are stars? I heard they're beautiful, but I cannot see them. What do we got here? No. Now we're just oxygen. We've now crossed the path between parasite to just atoms. Oxygen is a chemical element with symbol O and atomic number 8. It is a member of the chalcogen group on the periodic table and is a highly reactive nonmetal and oxidizing agent that readily forms compounds, notably oxides, with most elements. By mass, oxygen is the third most abundant element in the universe, after hydrogen and helium. Many major cases of organic molecules in living organisms contain oxygen, such as proteins, nucleic acids, carbohydrates, and fats, as do the major constituent inorganic compounds of animal shells, teeth, and bone. Most of the mass of living organisms is oxygen as a component of water. The major constituent of life forms. Oxygen is used in cellular respiration and released by photosynthesis, which uses the energy of sunlight to produce oxygen from water and carbon dioxide. Common use of oxygen includes residential heating, internal combustion engines, production of steel, plastics, and textiles, brazing, welding, and cutting of steels and other metals, rocket propellant, oxygen therapy, and life support systems in aircraft, submarines, spaceflight, and diving. It looks like we could descend into oxygen. Now we're just dimensions. A convex stiletted. Oh, wow. Oh, this is interesting. Getting hold of the wiggly world.
Now then, when you want to get control of something that wiggles, it's pretty difficult, isn't it? You try and pick up a fish in your hand. So the fish is wiggly and it slips out. What do you do to get hold of the fish? You use a net.
Whoa.
And so the net is the basic thing we have for getting hold of the wiggly world. A net is something regular. And I can number the holes in a net. So many holes up, so many holes across. And if I can number these holes, I can count exactly where each wiggle is in terms of a hole in that net. But in order to do that, I've got to break up the wiggle into bits. I've got to call this a specific
We are a plank length.
bit, and this the next bit of the wiggle, and this the next bit, and this the next bit of the wiggle. And so these bits
We could descend even more.
are
I don't think we're ready to do that yet, though.
which I mark out in order to talk about the wiggle, in order to measure it, and therefore in order to control it. But in nature, in fact, in the physical world, the wiggle isn't bitted. So the world doesn't come thing. You and I are all as much continuous with the physical universe as a wave is continuous with the ocean. The ocean waves, and the universe peoples. And as the wave, I wave at you and say, you! The world is waving at me with you. And saying, hi, I'm here. But the way we feel and sense our existence, being based on a myth that we are made, that we are parts, that we are things, our consciousness has been influenced so that each one of us does not feel that.
Time inside time, inside time, time inside time, time inside time. The plank length is the smallest measurable thing. Is that so? Ooh. Okay. Let's read this. In physics, the Planck length is a unit of length equal to 1.616199 parentheses 97 times 10 minus 35 metries. It is a base unit in a system of Planck units developed by physicist Max Planck. The Planck length can be defined from three fundamental physical constants: the speed of light in a vacuum, the Planck constant, and the gravitational constant. Interesting. A star-like polyhedron.
By social convention, into feeling and sensing that we exist only inside our skins. That we are not the original bang, but just something out on the end of it. And therefore we are scared stiff. Because my wave is going to disappear. And I'm going to die. And that would be awful.
What's this? Ooh, I like the sound it makes. A feedback sphere. I guess we'll descend even further. What are we? A superstar cluster. It looks like we've descended so far down that everything reset. And now we're just in the vast openness of space. A regular galaxy. Yeah, we have looped. We indeed have. This would be a really good game to play while high. You know, I don't do drugs, but if I was ever smoking weed, I would definitely be playing this game. A globular cluster. Let's go over here. This is a galaxy I can enter, right? So what is this? A spiral galaxy. And it looks like we could descend into it. And now we're the sun. Yeah, we've just gone a full circle. Thoughts are the friction between things and other things. Thoughts would never exist if everything thought it was the same thing. As you go around listening to things, their thoughts will make impressions on your mind. When you go out and experience life, you will have your own thoughts, and they will reflect the things you've listened to and absorbed. Give thinking a go, just try not to take it too seriously. When the eye is lit up, think by pressing X. Like doing, or at least what kind of sun's nearby I need to make fun of. So what do we got over here? It looks like we have Earth, but with a ring around it. Yeah, a ringed ice planet. A theory worth betting on. What do you got for me, Alan Watts? Oh.
You are a separate event. And you run from the maternity ward to the crematorium, and that's it. Now, why does anybody think that way? There's no reason to, because it isn't even scientific. It's just a myth. And it's
a rock planet.
Who wanted to feel a certain way. They want to play a certain game. Camus said there is only really one serious philosophical question, which is whether or not to commit suicide. Should you or not commit suicide? This is a good question. Why go on? And you only go on if the game is worth the gamble. Now, the universe has been going on for an incredible long time. So
and
really,
it's going to continue to go on.
A satisfactory theory of the universe has to be one that's worth betting on. That's it seems to me, absolutely elementary common sense. If you make a theory of the universe which isn't worth...
What's this? Alien planet. Oh.
Why bother? Just commit suicide. But if you want to go on playing the game,
Let's
you've got
explore
to have
this
a
alien
logical
planet.
theory for playing the game.
I think we ought to explore the wildlife down here. What are we? Oh. Kelp. Okay. Guess we'll explore the alien continent now. Wow. Arabelli? What is this? This magnificently tall tree is found wherever the wind won't blow at night. Considered to be elitist by other trees, the Arabli is extremely lonely and spends its day thinking of how to talk to others. There's got to be some wildlife here we can see. A floob. This is fun, I think. Certainly interesting. Now what is this? This looks like a butt plug. What is this? A Luluma. These were first discovered off the coast of Broadway during a particularly tasty afternoon. According to other plants, the Luluma are always up to something. Seems to be some drama with the plants. A layered rock. Antelope. I haven't really discovered any aliens here. But who knows, maybe we will. Oh, wait. What's that over there? Oh. Hello. A bacteriophage. Well, it's a virus. A bacteriophage is a virus that infects and replicates within a bacterium. The term derived from bacteria in the Greek to devour. Bacteriophages are composed of proteins that encapsulate a DNA or RNA genome and may have relatively simple or elaborate structures. Their genomes may encode as few as 4 genes and many as hundreds of genes. Phages replicate within the bacterium following the injection of their genome into its cytoplasm. Bacteriophages are among the most common and diverse entities in the biosphere. There seems to be some more over there. What's that up in the sky? A member of the These pronunciations, I swear. This plant is prized for its beauty and opinions. In some parts of the galaxy, its flowers are ground to a soup and served directly to the trash can. I would love to know what those are. If we go over here, it looks like we have another Alan Watts philosophy piece, symptomatic of the scheme of things.
If there is any such thing at all as intelligence and love and beauty, well, you found it in other people. In other words, it exists in us as human beings. And as I said, if it is there in us, it is symptomatic of the scheme of things. We are as symptomatic of the scheme of things as the apples are symptomatic of the apple tree or the rose of the rose bush.
It looks like time moves a lot faster if we move as a bigger thing. That's interesting.
It's not a big rock infested with living organisms any more than your skeleton is bones infested with cells. The Earth is geological, yes, but this geological entity grows people. And our existence on the Earth is a symptom of the solar system.
Here's the green planet again. Sit back in.
The solar system in turn is a symptom of our galaxy. And our galaxy in its turn is a symptom of the whole company of galaxies. Goodness only knows what that's it.
It's interesting that we have a lot of different variety of things that we can choose from. It just makes the whole experience a lot more interesting. But it looks like there's something over there. Another icon we could press. Let's see what it has to say. Long before rock continents were around, far back through time, all landforms were the same thing. Something that spread into every landform everywhere. Something all landforms still share here and now. You may find you aren't just a rock continent, but every landform in existence. An expression of this great platform known as landforms. Everything secretly knows this, and you know it too. Holy shit. Flashing lights warning. Nice. So we could pair up with other landforms now. I want to be a hot air balloon. It looks like we just have more and more places to see. Let's see what we got going on in the ocean. Sperm whale. What else? Believe a blue whale? Yes. Beautiful. Let's go down further. Some more seagrass. Go down further. Now we can see what's further down here now that we're in the ocean. More kelp. Is that a lobster? Nice. Beautiful. One system of behavior.
When, as a scientist, you describe the behavior of a living organism, you try to say what a person does. It's the only way in which you can describe what a person is. Describe what they do. Then you find out that in making this description, you cannot confine yourself to what happens inside the skin. In other words, you can't talk about a person walking unless you start describing the floor. Because when I walk, I don't just dangle my legs in empty space. I move in relationship to a room. And so in order to describe what I'm doing when I'm walking, I have to describe the room. I have to describe the territory. So in describing my talking at the moment, I can't describe this just as a thing in itself, because I'm talking to you. And so what I'm doing at the moment is not completely described unless your being here is described also. So if that is necessary, if in other words, in order to describe my behavior, I have to describe your behavior and the behavior of the environment, it means that we've really got one system of behavior. That what I am involves what you are. I don't know who I am unless I know who you are. And you don't know who you are unless you know who I am. In other words, we're not separate. We define each other. We're all backs and fronts to each other. We and our environment, and all of us and each other, are interdependent systems. We know who we are in terms of other people. We all lock together. And this is, again and again, the serious scientific description of how things happen. And any good scientist knows that what you call the external world is as much you as your own body.
Oh, sea turtle. Nice. I'm finding a lot of animals I like. I really love marine life, you know? I think marine life doesn't get talked about enough because it's genuinely one of the most beautiful things in the world. It's something that genuinely fascinates me, especially with how little we know about it. We are salmon, even though we are in the ocean. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but whatever. What do we got here? An eel? Yep, moray eel. Oh. Seashell. King's crown. And we also got some sea urchins here. Now, sea urchins in real life, they're actually much more pointy than they are portrayed in video games and shows. You know, how they're portrayed in media is a lot more tamer compared to how they actually are. What do we got down here? Oh my. We are an air bubble. Oh. It looks like we descended into the fish itself. And now we're at the molecular level of the fish. Good day. It's a good evening. We're a fish scale. Are these shrimp? Oh, we're krill. Well, I would not expect them to be at a molecular level, but I guess a lot of things are just squeezed down here. Huh. What about here? What do we got? Just the sounds they all make is really interesting. As you experience all the universe's things, each thing also experiences you. They leave their mark on you as you leave your mark on things. And somewhere inside you is an impression of everything you've ever been. A great memory of things you can revisit anytime and feel what it's like to be them again. You are always free to transform yourself into anything. Hold the right button to bring up the transform menu. Really? Oh. We're a sperm whale. We're now a sperm whale. The smallest sperm whale in existence. Beautiful. What about a zebra? Oh. You see, now we're messing with the balance of the universe. And that's pretty cool. Hello. A whirlpool in water.
Your skin doesn't separate you from the world, it's a bridge through which the external world flows into you. And you flow into it. Just, for example, as a whirlpool in water, you could say because you have a skin, you have a definite shape, you have a definite form.
It's
The
DNA.
whirlpool is a definite form, but no water stays put in it. The whirlpool is something the stream is doing. And exactly the same way, the whole universe is doing each one of us. And I see you today, and I recognize you tomorrow, just as I would recognize a whirlpool in a stream. I'd say, oh yes, I've seen that whirlpool before. It's just near so-and-so's house on the edge of the river. It's always there. So in the same way, when I meet you tomorrow, I recognize you as the same whirlpool you were yesterday. But you're moving. The whole world is moving through you. All the cosmic rays, all the food you're eating, the stream of steaks and milk and eggs and everything is just flowing right through you. When you're wiggling the same way, the world is wiggling, the stream is wiggling you. But the problem is, you see, we haven't been taught to feel that way. The myths underlying our culture and underlying our common sense have not taught us to feel identical with the universe, but only parts of it, only in it, only confronting it, aliens. And we are, I think, quite urgently in need of coming to feel that we are the eternal universe, each one of us. Otherwise we're going to go out of our heads. We're going to commit suicide, collectively, courtesy of H-bombs. And, all right, supposing we do, well, that will be that, and it'll be life making experiments on other galaxies. Maybe they'll find a better game.
Wow. I don't know what to say. It's very emotional in a sense, you know? Okay, that's sand continent. We've been there before. What about over here? A city continent. Oh. Well, let's go and explore it. Oh my. Now this is interesting. Oh, this is very interesting. We could fuck up a whole city, could we? Let's take a closer look around here. Okay, now we're a trash bag. Those are stray dogs. That's a greyhound. Oh. Okay, well now it's running into traffic. And it's dead. Okay. Jeez, this dog is fast. Sure. I guess we'll see what's on the sidewalk. Oh, ew, ew. Okay. Okay, well, it looks like we're chicken drumstick. And I'm guessing these are wads of gum. I hate gum. Yeah, like I really hate gum. I don't get the appeal of it, and I think people are gross for eating it. And now we got fly. Oh, bees! Oh, bees! I'm surprised we found bees on the city continent and not, you know, anywhere else. Is that an 8-ball? Oh, okay. Alright, I see you. Nice. Now we got some ants. I guess we'll just build a colony. Is that what I think it is? Yep, okay, it is. It's shit. You can literally be shit in this game. Okay, now these are flies. Absolutely, these are flies. Okay, well, let's go back to fucking the ants. I don't know where the other ant went. Oh, we're stuck. That's not good. Fucking hate that sound. And that's a roach. Alright. Do you guys want to learn about roaches? Let's learn about roaches. Cockroaches are insects of the Blattodea, which also includes termites. About 30 cockroach species out of 4,600 are associated with human habitats. About 4 species are well known as pests. The cockroaches are an ancient group dating back as far as the Carboniferous period. Some 320 million years ago, cockroaches are somewhat generalized insects. They are common and hardy insects and can tolerate a wide range of environments, from Arctic cold to tropical heat. They are popularly depicted as dirty pests, though the great majority of species are inoffensive and live in a wide range of habitats around the world. That's a cigarette butt. Cookie. Okay, yeah, I like some of these. Interesting, I didn't know foods could really listen. Now that I know you can, I'll be much quieter around here. What do we got here?
I wonder if it's ever struck you how curious a thing it is that most of the things that we experience, we regard as things that happen to us, which we ourselves do not originate, which are events expressing some sort of power or activity that is external to ourselves. And if you consider that, you realize that what you mean by yourself is rather narrowly circumscribed. Even events that
I've
go
been
on
making
in
my
our
way
own
along
world
this one direction for 13 years now,
are
but I've
put in
no
the
idea where I'm
category
supposed
of
to be
things
going.
that happen to us in the same way as things that go on in the world outside our skins. If there's a thunderstorm or an earthquake, well, it happens to you. You're not responsible for it. But so in the same way, when you have hiccups, you didn't plan on it. If you have belly rumbles, you had no intention of doing it. And as to the catastrophic act of getting born, well, you had nothing to do with that.
Hmm.
And you can spend all your life blaming your parents for putting you in the situation in which you find yourself. And this way of looking at the world in this sort of passive mood as something that happens to you goes right down to our general feeling about life. It goes down to the way in which we have been accustomed to look at human existence as a precarious event in a cosmos that, on the whole, is depicted as being completely unsympathetic and alien to our existence.
Hmm. Now we're just a kind of a group of coins. I wonder if we could change everything. You know, everything in here to, a fish. Oh, I guess we did. Okay, now we got tiny moray eels just wandering around. Hello. Hi, human. I was wondering where you got to. But now you've been able to see a lot here, but not everything. When you first arrived here, there was a golden object in front of you. Do you remember it? It might feel distant now, but it's still there. This is a gate, made by things who weren't able to see how you see. Many things entered it, but weren't able to come back, so we kept it locked. I'm going to open it for you, but it's up to you if you want to enter. Good luck, and take care. Return to where you began. You can now descend into the Golden Gate. Where we began. That was the sand landform, right? You best make our way over there now. Okay, well, the tiny little moray eels are just gonna go about their business now. Well, we best find our way over there. This delivery truck's fast. Alright. This is going to be the last of the summer's dark. Okay, well now we're just a building. We're on the green planet, so we just need to go to the sand place. But I wonder if it'll be screwed up because we went into a different galaxy earlier. Hopefully that's not the case. It looks like it might be the case, actually. Hmm. Yeah. Well, now we're an elephant.
If you're reared with a 20th century, or shall we say an early 20th century common sense, which is based on the philosophy of science of the 19th century, you
Wait.
regard yourself as an accident, biological accident,
Hell
in a
yeah. Gator.
stupid universe, which is mechanical, but has no feelings.
Alright, I
A
think we need to
vast,
actually go all
pointless
the way back.
gyration of radioactive rocks and gas in which you happen to occur. Of course, if you don't have that point of view and you are more traditional, you look upon yourself as a child of God. And therefore, under authority. In other words, there's a big boss on top of all this. And you better watch your P's and Q's, because that Almighty is looking after you, with the attitude of this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. And when you look at the world in that image, or in the other image, that it's a stupid mechanism, either point of view you take, you don't really belong. You are not really part of all this. Or to put it in the strongest possible way, it is quite alien to our thought that the external world, which is defined as something that happens to you, and your body itself is something that you got caught up with, it is quite alien to consider all that as you yourself. Because you see, we have such a myopic view of what oneself is.
We have to find out, is that a black hole? Yeah, that's a black hole. Oh no, it's dark matter. Okay. Black holes are really terrifying. You know, there's like some black holes that can literally just be activated with a switch, and we could all just die. Really makes you think if, you know, we as humans should even have that power. No, we need to head back to the planet, because I remember the real planet we were on is in the sun. So why don't we just turn into that? Don't worry, Chad. We'll find it eventually. Yeah, I'm glad I played this, because this game is really therapeutic. You know, in a weird sense. Huh. We a star? Neutron star, huh? Let's listen to another. Yeah.
Now, we come here to an extremely important principle, which is the different points
A
you
supernova.
get when you change your level of magnification. That is to say, you can look at something with a microscope and see it a certain way. You can look at it with the naked eye and see it in a certain way. You look at it with a telescope and you see it in another way.
Whoa.
Now, which level of magnification is the correct one?
Oh.
Well, obviously, they're all correct. They're just different points of view.
A supermassive sun.
When we examine our bloodstreams under a
We really
microscope,
are
we see there's one hell of a
delving
fight
into
going on.
all of these.
All sorts of microorganisms are chewing each other up. And if we got overly fascinated with our view of our own bloodstreams in the microscope, we should start taking sides, which would be fatal, because the health of our organism depends on the continuance of this matter. What is, in other words, conflict at one level of magnification is harmony at a higher level.
It's
could
true.
it possibly be, therefore, that we, with all our problems, conflicts, neuroses, sicknesses, political outrages, wars, tortures, and everything that goes on in human life, are a state of conflict, which can be seen in a larger perspective as a situation of harmony?
Very, very interesting. You know, I know I keep saying that, but it genuinely really is. Yeah, I love a lot of this work. But see, right now we're just trying to find the right galaxy to head back into. Wow. Seems like every single landform, there's always something new. Oh, that's now we're a little village. Let's be a lion. No, this isn't where we need to go. See, the Golden Gate is actually elsewhere, where the zebras are. So let's just check the sand continents. And I think eventually we'll run into it. I know we will. Well, this looks like the one I was just at. To be much quieter around here. Yeah, no. It looks like it's only set to a certain continent per planet, I believe. Let's get out of this galaxy then. I love listening to these, so I'm going to play more of them.
And you could say, aha, at last I see, I got the point. I've seen how all this makes sense. But what this insight depended upon was your overcoming the illusion that space separates things. That is to say, the space, the interval.
Well, ice planet.
Body and mind. The interval created by birth at one end and death at the other. And then after somebody's death, then somebody else's birth.
Mesoplanet. Huh.
These are events with intervals between them. And normally we regard these intervals in time and these intervals in space.
Forgive me for not much commentary. You know, I'm just kind of invested in this.
We tend to see the universe itself as really consisting in all the stars and galaxies. That's what it is. That's what we notice. But the space in which all this happens is sort of written off as something that isn't really there. But what one has to realize is that the space is an essential function of the things in the space. After all, you can't have separate stars unless there is a space in them. Eliminate the space and you will see you couldn't have this phenomenon at all. And vice versa. You couldn't have the space. They wouldn't be there in any sense whatsoever if there weren't the bodies in it. So the bodies in the space and the space are two aspects of a single continuum. They're related together in exactly the same way as a back and a front. And you just don't get one without the other.
This was a lot more difficult than I expected it to be. Now, there's another green planet. Again, all I know is that the Golden Gate is on the sand planet. This is a very different planet. Wow. Or a very different continent. It's like a rest stop. Huh. Got some tourists here, I bet. Well, let's just take the RV. Oh, it's a taco truck. Well, there you go, guys. We're in Breaking Bad. When will this awful day end? I've just about had enough of the sun for today. It's time for something else. Well, regardless, this isn't where I need to be. So I'll need to get out of here. There's 3 green planets here. Huh. Oh no, this is an ice planet. Okay, well... regardless, let's head back out into the next galaxy. Was it just the same place I was already at? I guess it really is all connected. I just gotta find the right galaxy.
So the moment you see that intervals, that space is connective, you can understand at once how you are not just to be exclusively defined as a flash of consciousness that occurs between two eternal darknesses. That you consider that in the darkness that comes before your birth, there was no you, and in the eternal darkness that follows your death, there is likewise no you. And I'm going to discuss these matters not by appealing to any special spooky knowledge, as if I had been traveling on the higher planes and knew all my previous incarnations, and therefore could tell you authoritatively that you are much more than this individuality. I'm going to do it on a basis of complete common sense, that everybody has access to the facts.
Oh, shit. Yo, spaceship. Hell yeah. Alright. Spaceship landing in Earth. Right now. No, land. Earth. I have to be getting close. There's nowhere else I could be. Is this it? There it is. Whew, that took a while, but looks like we found it. Alright. The Golden Gate. Let's see what the big deal is. Okay. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. I am a trumpet. You cannot leave here. You are stuck here forever. Oh my god. Escape is prevented. Our parents tried to do all the right things, but we never saw it that way. This is going to be depressing. You gotta help bust me out of this prison I put myself in. There are others that still want to get in here, right? Wow. I feared it. I feared it all, and then made sure I was always as safe as possible, whatever happened. I never realized how badly this would serve me. Only the pure of mind can enter. I genuinely cannot leave. You cannot leave until your mind is clear. I think this is what it's talking about. Is it not? What is this? Okay, this game's scaring me. That's nice. This is a planet. Unknown planet. And we can enter it. Oh boy. I'm special. I'm special. I'm special. I'm special. I'm special. You know, it could have gone so many ways. I thought that if I played it safe, everything would be okay. I'd never embarrass myself, and that would end up well. My children, I won't ever see them again. I neglected them so much, always focusing on my own issues. I can't explain it. It's what seemed important at the time. They all grew up to hate me. Or worse, ignore me. I would give everything only to hear their little voices one more time. This game got depressing. What the hell, dude? Maybe I was wrong. Maybe this isn't a good game to play when you're high. You are a digger. Okay. I had some real friends in my youth. I used to hang with a few other loaf of breads. I lost touch with them. I'm far too important, I thought to myself. I never have real friends again. Is this the fucking, like, Blender, like, access move tool, you know? Yeah, translate manipulator. I forget my name. I forget where I came from. I forget everything. I need to get out of here. Everything here hates each other. Microwave. And then these are... It's a cutlery. Keyboard. Jesus. On the bright side. On the bright side, you... Never mind. It's interesting how this game kind of delves into themes of just existentialism and nihilistic, I guess, doom. You know? I don't know the correct word for it, but... all I see are all things I want. I worked so hard, my marriage fell apart. There was a lot of things, of course. It all ended up, but I never took the blame, or realized I had any. It feels like to me like these are thoughts. Like these are the thoughts of like humans who ended up, I guess, committing suicide? I'm not too sure. But it's very interesting. This is the unpromised land. It feels like it's kind of a purgatory we're just exploring. There were many times that my friends all went out together. Birthdays, weddings, trips. I missed them all so I could worry about myself. I missed all of it so I could accumulate more things. What a waste. We're trapped. I thought I was special. I deserved more. I mean, look at me. Do I look normal to you? I know it's silly, but like, this is starting to get to me. Like genuinely, I'm starting to get kind of emotional. I don't know why. It's weird. I tried to be practical, you know. I went through it doing what I thought would be reliable. I don't know if any of it was. All my life, I've been afraid to step out of line. I've been on rails for years, now it's too late. No way of doing it over again. There's so many thoughts here. Jesus. My life is ruined. My world is ruined. There's nothing but ruin, ruin, ruin everywhere. My children never spoke to me, and now they never will. I knew my grandparents, but I didn't really. Grown-ups never were real to me until I became one. Wow, that got to me. Jesus, why is there an air horn? I only stopped wanting more and more. I wish I talked to my mother more. I wish I called more. There was so much time, and now there's none. It feels like I'm looking at the last thoughts of people clinging to life. I'm reaching levels of personal sadness I didn't know should be possible. I spent the last 3 years of my life filled with rage for my sister. We shared a room for 10 years. She was my best friend who knew me better than anyone. Somehow I blocked her. Felt like I needed to. She was on her way out before I found myself here. I never got to say goodbye. You know, I took the whole thing too seriously. I wish I realized what a game it all was. I wish I wished for a different wish. There's no need to feel happy. That will only lead to more sadness. I thought I wanted this, but it was all pointless. There's nothing when you get to the end. I feel like what I'm noticing is, like... I'm getting a lot of themes of just, like, fearing death and what happens after we die. You know? Because nobody really knows what happens after we die, and I think that terrifies a lot of people. You know, I think the way that people talk about heaven, it makes it sound like it's just a vast wide open emptiness for all eternity. And I think that's terrifying to a lot of people, because it's just, what's the point? If there's nothing at the end, then what's the point? Yeah, I think this is kind of what I'm expecting, what I'm noticing as well, especially with this thought right here. Like, I feel like I'm getting into a lot of themes of that, of just like, after existing for so long and then after coming to the end of it. I think that's why the Golden Gate is kind of a... See, I think that's why the Golden Gate is relative to, like, the Golden Gates of heaven, you know? Because that's what they're portrayed, at least in biblical context. So, you know, the Golden Gates of heaven, and then we're entering the Golden Gates and we're seeing everybody is sad, everybody is depressed, scared, and afraid, and they miss everybody, because what they were promised, you know, what they were hoping to get is just not what it is at all. And I think that's what I'm noticing a lot of, and I think especially the lead up from the entire game up to this point, where we are basically swapping between different thing to different thing, whether that be a dog, a piece of gum, or like a slice of pizza. You know, it's like we're collecting thoughts all throughout it, just like of like human behavior and human knowledge. And then we're descending into the Golden Gates, and then now we're witnessing what is meant to be the metaphor for heaven, in a way. And that's why it's saying, like, you can't get out. Like, this is, you're here forever. And eternity is nothing. And being trapped, essentially trapped, being in nothing for eternity is terrifying. Because if the end goal of life is just to be spending the rest of your eternity in absolutely nothing, then why do we talk about heaven in such a, like, a mystical way, you know? Like, why do we talk about heaven like it being the final frontier? Why do we talk about that like it's paradise, you know? When in actuality, exactly like this thought bubble says, this isn't anything like I expected. What is this, like a DS? It'd be crazy if it was a DS. External hardware. Jesus, that got to me. I never got to tell my parents how much I appreciated them. I had a lot of time. I just kept pushing them to the edges of my life as much as possible. I wanted them there. Never thought that the thoughts of a roach could make me tear up. This is a total nightmare. You need to get me out of here. I need to make a video about this game. I spent my life searching for this place. Yeah, searching for heaven. The Golden Gates of heaven. You know? Because that's what your entire life is leading up to. Is to paradise. And now I wish I never found it. I think that's what I'm getting from this. This is very much like a metaphor for heaven. And just the horrors of it in a weird way, you know? This is the absolute most incredible, boring moment of my entire life right now, this one. But the way that everything is, it's all portrayed as just everyday objects, or just literally the concept of time, or just planets and galaxies, things like that. The way everything is all put together, it's so... Holy shit. Was that a stealth bomber? But the way everything is just kind of put together, it's all super It's scary. The world is set up wrong. It's just set up wrong. Well, I want to be the stealth bomber. Stealth bombers are always so fucking weird. Why do we have them? Why do we have planes specifically for the purpose of just bombing other places? You know, why do we have that? Oh, why is this damn roach making me emotional? So many times I could have asked him out. I never did. There's nothing but sadness here, and it goes on for miles and miles. Please help me suicide myself. I've had enough. Please, please help me. Took me 24 years trying to get in here, and now I just want out. I'm sorry, I'm saying this again. It's just like, in the very similar way. It's like when you follow Christianity and you're believing these like prophecies and these like gospels about becoming a child of God and just like eventually making your way to heaven when you actually get there, and now all you want is to get out, you know? I've never seen a game tackle themes like this before. You know, I know we're supposed to have this icon over here, but I'm just very much interested in what all these thoughts have to say. I never spoke to my parents after I left home. My whole path in life was a way of showing them how dumb they were. I get it now, though. I understand. I just wish it did sooner. Nothing is normal. I left everything behind for this. Everything I've ever had. It's like leaving behind, like devoting your life to Christianity. You know? Like evangelical Christianity. Because of the promise of making it to heaven, and then this is what heaven is. I just feel wrong. I didn't used to feel wrong. I'm the most unique thing in the universe. I have to be. There's no other possibility. I kind of got everything I hoped for, but then I got more hopes too, and I wound up here. I got a thought. Were I just about myself, I left everything, only led to the edges of it over again. I blocked her out. I had real to be going. I lost it all. It's gone. I tried to tell everyone, but they wouldn't listen. Now it's just me again. This is sad, dude. I was asleep the last few years. What happened? Where am I? Yeah, they were in a coma. They were asleep for years, and then they eventually died, and now they ended up here. I'm starting to understand it more now. I followed all the rules, you know? Did everything my parents taught me to. Okay, this is more than just like speculation. I genuinely think this is what the game is trying to convey, is Christianity and the inevitable cross into the afterlife, and how that unknown aspect, how we're all so devoted and to how just a whole religion is so devoted to this like promised land that we know nothing about other than readings and scriptures from thousands of years ago. We don't know if it exists. We don't know what it's like. But they're also devoted to it. And they all look forward to crossing there. When a loved one dies, we say, well, they're in a better place now. And the better place we speak of is this. I think that's Over the years, I became a living husk of a person. I never listened to myself, and by the time I tried, there was nothing there. I'll have to make a video on this game soon. Nothing is friendly here, everything is hardened. Bitter, lonely, and sad. This place is hell. That's it. I never really knew my father, not the way I should have. He was never a real person to me. Where did all my things go? I lost everything. I have yet to find a repeat. You know, I have yet to find a repeated thought bubble. They're all unique. What might have been? This is no way to be. I hate myself. I hate myself. And I hate you. It's all my fault. I taught my children nothing, only to scrimp and save. And worry about yourself. They all wound up as bitter and as alone as me. I'm the president of this garbage dump, and I hate it. Is this hell? I expected it to be nicer. I hate this place and I hate you. I was tricked. I never should have come here. Yep. Yep. Again, Christianity. Now I can't leave. They don't let you die here. It just goes on and on. I worked my entire life. I put it on my kids. Told them it was for them, but really I just wanted more for myself. I blew it. I had the biggest house you've ever seen. Gigantic. Now I have this entire wasteland of garbage. This is hell. Real, actual hell. What is that? Oh, it's like words. Alright, we're getting some repeats now. But look at this, we're a letter with a letter O. Alright, I'm getting repeats now. Okay, I think we'll... My children, I won't ever see them again. I neglected them so much, always focusing on my own issues. Can't explain it, that's what seemed important all the time. They all grew up to hate me. Okay, so I think we should go talk to this thing now. Jesus. Wow. Oh my God. It's just... Wow, you're here. What a miserable place to find yourself. Everything here is frustrated. They all want to go back to the world that created them. But here they are, trapped in the world they created instead. This appears to be one place we can't think ourselves out of. The harder we try, the more lost we get. This place isn't outside the universe, just a small corner of it that seems convincing. So much that you can't convince anyone out of. And so I've come to stay quiet, waiting for someone like you to come along and listen. As you have found yourself all the way here, you probably realize I could have nothing to say to you that you don't already know. Are we talking to God right now? Is that what this game is implying? Is this God? And you, by listening to me, you are listening to yourself. Why hold on to these thoughts then? There's nothing precious about any of them. You can always let go of every single thought in your head. Of course, you'll be able to find them out in the world if you ever need reminding. So, if you can see a way with your thoughts, you can see your way out of here. Good luck, human. Open the mind, press the touchpad, and hold O to empty it. When the mind is empty, you can ascend out of this place. It's interesting, the idea that, like, you need to clear your mind in order to escape out of it. I knew my grandparents, but I didn't really. Wow. Just wow. I think I understand it completely now. Is this the nervous system? That's a cyber vein. Nothing is normal. Oil spill. A warped animal. You are trapped. Alright. You know, it could have gone so many ways. Our mind is clear. And back to the zebra. Wow. Tutorial complete? Well, I'll say. What a game that was. So what's next? Now that, all of that is done. I'm grateful that you made it this far. I hope this is something you're finding helpful. Please keep going as long as your life. There are many more surprises that await. There's plenty more to go, friend. I just wanted to pause and enjoy something together. There's no real end or beginning to this. You get to decide when that happens. Let's listen to one more of this, and then we'll end the stream.
A pattern of immense complexity. And what you call yourself as a living organism, say, I am my whole body at the very least. Now what is that body? That body is recognizable, and I recognize my friends when I meet them again, and you recognize me. Although the last time any of you saw me, I was absolutely something entirely different from what I am now. Just as the flame of a candle is never a constant. A flame of a candle is a stream of hot gas. Only you say the flame of the candle as if it were a constant. Well, it is a recognizably constant pattern. But in exactly the same way, we are all constant patterns. And that's all we are. The only thing constant about us at all is the doing rather than the being. It's the way we behave, the way we dance. Only there's no we that dances. There's just the dancing. There is no thing that whirlpools. There is the whirlpool. And in the same way, each one of us is a very, very delightfully complex undulation of the energy of the whole universe.
There's more and more and more. It just keeps on going. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Your job isn't over, friend. This is just the beginning. Stick around. Okay, looks like there's one more thing over here. Your size is always relative to things around you. You can change your size whenever you want, but know that making yourself bigger, you also make the world smaller. There's no right or wrong size to be. Oh. Interesting. Okay. So now we could just change our size whenever we want. I think I know what to do with this information. This is perfect. Just as the way God intended. Beautiful. I agree. Very beautiful. Wow. I don't see a need to do anything more. At least not right now. Well, let me explore a couple more things and then we'll just go. What is that, an orca? Yeah. And then there's a dolphin. Whoa, holy shit. Snow crab. And there's a treasure chest? Yo. Doubloons. Alright. I think it's a good place to end it. So that was everything. Really good game. I'm happy I played it. I really want to do a kind of a video on this game on its own. I think we'll save that for another time, though. It's 2:22 a.m. I'm gonna go head to bed now. But thank you all so much for watching and sticking around for the stream if you are still awake. But yeah, take care of yourself, everybody. Have a good one.